Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. This video is a little bit different. We're going to be looking at the rise of American hate hoaxing. Yes, that is a thing. We're going to start by looking at the case of Jussie Smollett, and then we're going to move on to some other cases, including one that belongs to Meghan Markle. I am a firm believer in the Black Lives Matter movement. I think all lives matter, including African Americans. And it's bothering me that it's African Americans that are damaging its own movement. It's a bit wordy, but for people who don't live in the United States or are not familiar with the case, I'm going to try to cover it as best I can. This video is not meant to upset anybody, but it's meant to try to point out the problem and what can we do to fix it. So hang in there with me until the end, okay? Let's go. So for those of you who don't know how this case went, I'm going to give you a little synopsis as we go, okay? This is American actor, I hope I say this right, Jussie Smollett. And he went to the Chicago Police Department and said that in the early morning hours, he had been assaulted. He claimed that the men that attacked him were wearing Make America Great Again hats that belonged to Trump, and they shouted racial and homophobic slurs, and they poured some sort of chemical on him, and they tied a noose around his neck. He also claimed his attackers were white. A week before that, he claimed a letter was mailed to his boss that showed a stick figure with a gun, and there was a white powder that turned out to be Tylenol. The two guys who actually attacked him said that they were shown by Mr. Smollett where to attack him and pointed out the cameras, and apparently this was going to be posted to social media afterward. And just so you know, it wasn't actually this guy who called the police, it was his manager. This guy apparently did not want the police involved. Literally immediately, on January 30th, as soon as it came out in the public figures started expressing all kinds of support for this guy on social media. Shonda Rhimes, Viola Davis, Democratic senators, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, everybody went on and said, this is absolutely horrible. He was lynched. This should never happen. And I agree. Stuff like that should never happen. It doesn't get any worse than this. And even President Trump, when he was asked about the attack, said, I think it's horrible. It doesn't get any worse. Now, there were some people who doubted his version of events, and he claimed that those people who doubted him basically were racist. And he also said this.
The man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, but I do subscribe to the idea that we have the right and the responsibility to make something meaningful out of the things that happen to us, good and bad.
Not long after, they arrested the two brothers, and they were co-workers of Jussie's on the Empire. And these two guys admitted to everything. They admitted they had bought the supplies. They were caught on camera buying the supplies. They admitted that they had been paid to assault him. They admitted to everything. He said he paid the two men for training, not to attack him. The police came out and said that Jussie was under arrest for filing a fake police report because he apparently was unhappy with his salary on his job, and this was meant to further his career. Now, the person you're looking at above is Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx. She said she was leaving the investigation because she had a, quote, familiarity with potential witnesses in the case, but then she didn't remove herself. Then on March 26th, all charges were suddenly dropped and the record sealed. And everybody was like, wait a minute, what just happened? Not long afterwards, Special Prosecutor Dan Webb, who you see above, was assigned to look at the case. He got a search warrant for Google to look at Mr. Smollett's mails and photos and everything. Not long after, new charges were brought. With that, he was arrested again. During the trial, Jussie's attorney accused the judge of trying to assault her, and the judge was like, we're not doing a mistrial here. It also came out at trial that Mr. Smollett had had a sexual relationship with one of the two brothers. There are even messages from Tina Chen, who used to work for Michelle Obama when she was the first lady, to try to circumvent the Chicago Police Department and reach out to the FBI and have them take over. I don't believe that the Obamas got involved in this, to be fair. There was a trial and Mr. Smollett was found guilty. And also, interestingly enough, the Black Lives Matter movement has come out and said it doesn't matter if he's been found guilty, we're going to stand by him. And this is the kind of stuff that damages the Black Lives Matter movement. Here's another one. A young lady who said she was driving down the road. She had stopped at an intersection. These men approached her. They threw lighter fluid on her and they lit her up on fire. But video evidence clearly shows she never stopped. She was never assaulted. She was never attacked. She lied. But she got a phone call from Meghan Markle. But notice after the investigation was buried because they found out that this girl lied, you never heard another word about the assault. Here's an incident where 3 girls claimed they were assaulted on a bus and they had racial slurs thrown at them and they were physically assaulted, only to find out later on from the other passengers on the bus and the surveillance camera on the bus that these 3 assaulted a 19-year-old white passenger on the bus. Nobody had assaulted them. Nobody had thrown racial slurs at them. The whole thing was a lie. So after everybody was up in arms about it, suddenly it just quietly died away. And then, of course, we have Harry and Meghan that cried racism in the royal family, and somebody in the family was racist and made a blanket statement but never gave any evidence and never said who the racist was. How is true racism ever gonna be wiped out when you have this kind of crap going on? It's damaging the movement. Don't people see that? I mean, this is a thing. Hate hoaxing is a thing. In September, racist graffiti was found at Parkway North and Parkway Central schools in a Midwest American state of Missouri. Somebody wrote, "Hope all Black people die," and the N-word across the bathrooms. And there were protests and students boycotted classes. And it all fell flat, though, when it came out that the person who had scrawled the graffiti was Black. In 2017, the U.S. Air Force Academy had a Black cadet in South Carolina. A Black cadet taped a "No Blacks Allowed" sign outside a university building. In Michigan, there were racist words in residential hallways, and the graffiti was assumed to be the work of some, neo-Klan fan, and it turned out it was another Black student. The only difference between that guy and Meghan Markle is Meghan Markle didn't file a police report and end up investigated. So I guess my point is, ladies and gentlemen, all lives matter. Black lives, white lives, yellow lives, everybody's life matters. And as long as you have people that are doing this fake hoaxing thing, we're never going to get there. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get there. I want to get there bad. So I would love to hear your comments on this. What can we do to help the Black Lives Matter movement? What can we do to stop this fake race baiting stuff that's going on? How can we get where we need to get, you guys, where everybody, regardless of your race, is treated equally and fairly? I'd love to hear your comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Gab. You can email me. And for those who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you very much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.